Hello everyone, hope you're right. Into this video I'm going to give you a little update on my garden, how it is transforming in the month of March. We are officially in spring now, and you can see further away that trees have started to sprout their leaves and buds, and everything is coming back to life. I have managed to put most of the plants which I brought from my previous garden into containers. Some of them I put them in the ground, and some of the containers I have sorted in different spaces around this new garden. So this new garden is taking its shape now as I wanted it to be, and you can see we have done lots of progress in past few weeks, and the structure is in place now. And if you have seen my previous videos, you will know that we installed this arch by ourselves. This is from Forest Garden, really beautiful arch, really good quality, and I'm quite happy with this arch walkway. There are two arches, in fact one at the front and one at the bottom. I planted this rose plant on the right side of this first arch, and I hope it will climb up on this arch and look absolutely beautiful. This is like peachy pink rose, and on this left side of the first arch I have planted this jasmine plant. I brought this from my previous garden. It was in a container and it was rooted quite well, so I had to dig it out from the container and plant here next to the arch. You can see it's already grown a little bit, and it will be its third year, so I can hope that it will grow much faster this year to cover at least this side of the arch. On this second arch, the left side, I planted my grapevine. This was in a container and it is in its second year. You can see it has already got these two cordons going up, which I tied up with the arch. And on the right side I have another grapevine which was also in a container in my previous garden, and you can see this is grown quite a lot as well. But unfortunately both of these two grapevines were like in containers, and we had really bad infestation of vine weevils last year, and when I dug these vines out, the vine weevil larvae had eaten most of the roots, so there were little roots left to these vines, and I hope I have dug them out from those containers now and planted them here, so hopefully they will recover and they will start growing again. But I can't say anything for sure, so we will know how they do during this season. But I can see they have got birds which are started to sprout, so I hope there is not much damage, that these vines will be dead, but they can grow and develop themselves. We have got this circular lawn in the middle and wide borders. So on this side of the garden, which is right side, this side gets the most sun from late morning till afternoon. So I have got three raised beds here. One of them I planted with strawberry plants, which I also brought from my previous garden, and I also mentioned this, that these plants were badly damaged by vine weevil larvae as well. So I dug them out from their containers and planted them here, and I hope that they will recover. Some of them I planted here in the ground, and you can see this shrub, it's already planted here in this garden and it is starting to sprout its new leaves. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's a cotton Easter or something like that. Whatever, I have looked online to see what is it, but we will know more about it once it's leaves out fully and starts to grow flowers. Here we installed these stepping stones around the circular lawn to maneuver around the garden, and they are really beautiful. They have been excellent addition to the garden. We have been enjoying stepping on them, and they bring a lot of interest here in this garden. You can see it's a beautiful walkway, and I will plant around them. So in summertime they may not be very visible as the plants grow, but winter months and in spring there will be much more of interest in the garden, and they look absolutely beautiful. I planted these box plants around the rim of the circular lawn, so I want them to be a hedge of box, at least, or topiaries. And I also planted some lavender plants here and there, not around the whole circular rim. And I also planted these danthus plants, which were seedlings, so they were started in autumn and they were big enough to be transplanted now, so I put them here in my garden. And some fancy plants here and there I talked here. This is our maple tree already in this garden, and it's really beautiful. You can see it has beautiful canopy and quite established, so it will look beautiful in summer. This rhododendron is not looking quite well, so I will give it a season or so to see how it does. I may have to dig it out and put it in a container, as these plants like acidic soil. And this bay laurel tree, bay tree, is really beautiful, well established tree here, and I pruned it into a tree form, and hopefully it will look beautiful through the summer. We can use its leaf in cooking, and you can see it has got buds going on, which means it will be flowering soon. I put some containers here and there which I will be using to plant my summer annuals. And this is the apple tree which I brought from my previous garden. It was in a container as well, and unfortunately it had a lot of root damage due to the vine beaver larvae. So let's see how it does here. We already have 2 apple trees in this garden which are quite mature and well established, and hopefully we will have a good harvest of apples. We have got some shrubs here. This one has got yellowish tinge towards leaves, not quite sure yet what is it. And this one is holly plant, to best of my knowledge, looking really beautiful. Its new leaves are reddish brown and look like little torches from further away. Behind we have got a rose plant which is sprouting its leaves, and here is a skimia with red birds. And here are all my garlic plants which I planted in the grow bag. This is my blueberry bush, and it's in a container. It didn't do really well last year, and let's see how it goes this year. This is a cherry tree or plum tree. We will know when it starts to flower. I guess it's a cherry tree because it looks like a cherry tree which I had in my previous garden. And here I planted a clematis vine, and I installed this trellis, really beautiful trellis. So hopefully this clematis will grow and cover the trellis. Here I planted my nectarine tree which was in a container, and it was rooted quite well, so I had to use a lot of force to dig it out, but I planted it in the ground, and I think it will be much happier in the ground than in container. We have got this beautiful bird bath, and it is also from the same supplier where we got our paving stones. Really beautiful work, and we are quite happy with the quality. This is red robin botania with its beautiful red leaves, looks like torches. And this tree is starting to sprout its leaves. I guess it's a magnolia tree. We will know more once it flowers. You can see its beautiful buds. Here is a skimia which is starting to flower, all these beautiful small white flowers. And here is my plum tree which I planted in the ground. It was in the container, and fortunately this was quite in a good condition, not affected by vine beaver larvae. so hopefully it will do good. This is also red robin photonia, much larger specimen. You can see this is a big shrub, and here is the young one. So this one also has got flowers on the top, and that shrub I'm not quite sure about. It's starting to leaf out, but it has really beautiful structure. We will know once it starts to flower. I can see the birds. And in this raised bed I planted some of the lettuce plants which I started in autumn, and I also started my spring crops like radish, turnip and spinach from seeds. So I just sowed the seeds, and hopefully we will have some spring crops to harvest in a couple of months. On this side of the fence does not get much sun. It just gets a little bit of sun in the morning. So let's see how it goes. And I have put my azalea plant in this container. It's not doing good. I will see how it does. I will fertilize it with acidic compost and fertilizer. Here are my raspberry bush and blackberry bush in these containers with these obelisks, and here is my kiwi vine which is starting to sprout its leaves. I just like to grow all sorts of vegetables, flowers, fruit and berries, but these plants in the containers obviously do not perform as well as they would in the ground. But it's better to have something than nothing. We can harvest a little bit of berries ourselves, and that's why I like to grow them. They also bring a lot of interest in the garden, and we get to enjoy a little bit of harvest. I have put my daffodils in these containers and I lined them up here, so they are starting to flower now. Here are alliums in this container. They will take some time before they flower, and here is a big container where I have got this camellia plant, hardymoms and this ivy vine. So I will keep it like this. I may dig one of these hardymoms out and put it in the garden. Here are scabious plants which survived the winter, luckily. However, we had really bad winter this year with a couple of really terrible snowstorms, but still it's doing good. And in these containers I have got some random plants going like stock and spring onions and some other annuals. So I'm quite happy with the garden, how it's doing up to now, and I'm planting few things here and there as I get the time. We are already busy at this time of the year, and you know there is lots to do in the garden, especially when you move the house and you have got whole new projects going. It takes some time for the garden to take its shape. Further down you can see that beautiful tree is in the neighbor's front yard, and it's all covered with pink flowers, really beautiful. And I have spotted some really beautiful statement trees or shrubs in this area where we have moved. This is quite close to a countryside, and if I walk down the road just around the corner, we have beautiful views of countryside. So I'm quite happy with the space we have got. So I will keep you updating about the progress of my garden. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my gardening videos. Thank you very much for watching today. See you next time. Bye.